Hi guys, and welcome to our English class. Today we are on Unit 3, and the topic of our story this week is all about new ideas. And our essential question is, what ideas can we get from nature? So we're going to be talking about, what things can inspire us to have new ideas? Ideas from nature. This spider may be small, but it inspires big ideas. Its webs are super strong, and scientists want to know why. Scientists look to nature for new ideas. These ideas help people in many different ways. So today, when we're reading our story, we're going to be learning about how scientists are studying nature to get new ideas to help people. Before that, let's go ahead and let's start with our vocabulary for today. So our first vocabulary word is effective. If something is effective, it means that it is relating to moods or feelings or attitudes. It means that it can do it. It can do the job, that there's going to be some change. The broom is an effective tool for sweeping up leaves and dirt. Next, we have example. Now, an example is a thing or characteristic of its kind, and it's kind of like a general rule. It's giving you an idea or a detail. The apple is a good example of a healthy fruit. Next, we have identical. Now, identical means that something is similar in every detail. It's exactly alike. Mark and Matt are identical twins because they look alike. Imitate. So if I'm imitating something, it means that I am going to follow a model. So imitate me. Boop, 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 boop. Okay? This robot can imitate the way Cody moves. Now we have material. So material is matter or a substance from which something is made. The baby's blanket is made of a soft, warm material. Now we have a model. So a model is a 3D representation of a person or a thing or maybe a new structure that someone wants to build. Okay? And it's usually on a very small scale. So we can see in this picture that Kevin and I play with my model airplane in the park. So it's not a real airplane, it is a model airplane. Observed. If you observe something, it means you're going to notice something and maybe this is important. Meg and Joanne observed the fish and wrote down what they saw. Next, we have similar. Now, similar is not identical, but it's close. So similar means that you resemble one another. There are some things that you have in common. Some things are the same, but not everything. My dad and I like to look alike, so we wear similar shirts. Okay, so that brings us to our story for today. And our story is called Bats Did It First. Now, our story today is a true story. It is all about facts and clues and information. So this is an expository text, okay? And what we're going to be learning in our expository text is, what ideas can we get from nature? We're going to read about how bats have inspired a new cane for blind people. Nature is full of great ideas. Many inventors and scientists just step outside and look around for inspiration and ideas. They often imitate or copy what they see outdoors. They use nature to inspire their inventions. One amazing invention was inspired by bats. It's a special cane that helps blind people navigate and get around. Now, where can an inventor get some ideas from? Good, just going outside and having a look around and observing. Now, do you know what is an inventor? Someone who creates new things for the very first time. So what is it that one inventor created by studying bats? A cane. So this boy is blind and he uses a special cane to help him get around. Now, what does it mean if someone is blind? They cannot see, they cannot use their eyes. Canes lead the way. Many blind people use canes. They tap the canes on the ground in front of them to locate objects that may be in the way. This helps them move around safely as they do their shopping or walk outdoors. The bat-inspired cane is different from these canes. It sends out sound waves or signals. These signals are almost identical to the ones bats use to find their way in the dark. How bats get around. The scientist that came up with the idea for the new cane was inspired by watching bats. He observed the way bats fly at night. The bats make high-pitched sounds that people cannot hear. These sounds create an amazing navigation system for the bats. Here's how it works. So what can blind people use to help them get around? A cane, very good. Now, how did bats inspire this new cane? How is it that the bats get around? Okay, so they are making some very high-pitched sounds that people cannot hear. Okay, so these sounds are like a navigation tool, so it's showing the bats how to get around. Bats send sound waves out through their mouth or nose. These sound waves hit objects and then bounce back as an echo. The echo tells the bats how far away an object is and how big it is. This information helps bats find bugs to eat. It is also an effective way to keep bats from bumping into trees and other bats. So how exactly do these bats send sound waves? Okay, so they're going to send the waves out through their mouth or their nose, and so these sound waves are going to echo, right? Until it hits something, and the bat knows there is something in front. Just like in this diagram right here, we see that the bat can know the moth. It sends out a beam, and then it goes back to the bat. It says that this diagram shows how a bat uses sound waves. First, the bat sends out sound waves. Then the waves hit the moth and bounce back to the bat as an echo. This tells the bat where and how close the moth is. A batty idea. The scientist who invented the new cane took what he learned from observing bats. He used a similar idea. He started with an ordinary white cane. He wanted the cane to imitate the way bats use sound waves. So he sketched plans and made a model of his invention. When he built the cane, The scientist used a special material that was lightweight and strong. Then he added sound waves. Finally, a team of scientists tested the cane. It worked. How the cane works. The handle of the cane sends out signals. The signals bounce off objects in front of the cane. Then an echo bounces back to the cane's handle. The person holding it feels buttons on the handle vibrate or shake. These buttons tell the person how far away and how big the object is. Okay, so how did the scientist or the inventor begin his invention? Well, he started with an ordinary white stick or an ordinary white cane, right? And then he started to build using a lot of special materials. Now, what exactly does this cane do? Good, it's sending out echoes that bounce back and come back, and there's some vibration that the blind person is going to feel on their hand as they are walking around. Scientists and inventors study plants and animals all the time. Their observations have led them to invent many useful things. And like many new inventions, the bat-inspired cane is a good example of how great ideas can come from nature. Now in this picture, we see that a scientist is studying how do bats fly. And in this diagram over here, this is giving us a good model, visual representation of what is the cane actually doing. So the blind person is walking with the cane, right? So we can see the cane is right there. And the cane is sending out sound waves, just like the bat. And when it hits something, it echoes, and it sends the vibration back to the cane. So that way the cane can alert the blind person if there is anything in the way, so the blind person can be safe when they're walking on the street. Okay, so let's kind of wrap up a little summary. Now, we learned that people and scientists and inventors can learn new ideas by observing nature. Okay, so that is the main idea of our story today, that we can learn new things by observing nature. Okay? Now, in our story today, let's go through. What is it that the inventor observed in order to learn a new idea? Very good. So the inventor is observing bats. So the man observed how bats navigated at night in the dark. Very good. So he's studying to observe it. And what did the scientist learn as he is observing? Well, he learned that bats use sound waves for seeing. The sound waves bounce off an object and tell the bat what is in front of them. Okay? So that is how they are using their sound waves in order to navigate. So that is something new that we are learning by observing nature. Now, what did the scientists do with this new information? Well, he took this information and he made it possible for a human to use this. So he created a cane that uses sound waves like bats. This helps a blind person to see. So just by observing one animal, we have learned exactly how we could integrate this into our new life. So this week, or as you get older, maybe you could learn by observing some other things in nature that might give you a cool business idea. Maybe you could help more people. Maybe you could make a lot of money, all by observing things in nature. All right, so now we're going to take a look at our vocabulary words, okay? So our vocabulary words this week were model, effective, example, observed, identical, similar, imitate, and material. Now we want to read the sentence and then we need to choose the correct word, okay? So number one, if two things are impossible to tell apart, what might they be? Which word do you think that could be? It's going to be identical. Very good. So we could say that the identical twins were impossible to tell apart. Number two, when making a poster, what is paper considered? So what would I call paper if I were making a poster? It would be a material, okay? So we could say that my teacher gave us materials for our poster project, right? So we could have paper, scissors, crayons, anything like that would be considered a material. How would you describe a plan that went the way it was intended? So if something worked, you had a plan and the plan worked out, how could we describe that? Effective, very good. Okay, so we could say, the plan we had was very effective. Okay, so this could describe the plan. The plan was effective. Number four, what is another word for noticed something? So if I'm noticing something, how else could I say that? Observed, very good. So think of something that we observed. We could say from the story, the man observed the bats to learn how they fly. Okay? So observation. Good job. All right, so let's work on some grammar next. So we are going to be looking at verbs, okay? So verbs can show actions that happen in the present or in the past. They can also show action in the future. Now, last week we talked about past tense verbs. This we're going to learn about future tense, okay? So a future tense means that something is going to happen in the future. When something is going to happen in the future, we use one special word, and we use the word will. Something will happen in the future. So anytime that I have a sentence, I will go to school tomorrow. I need to have will with my verb. I will go to school tomorrow. Now we're going to read 4 sentences, and I want you to tell me, is the sentence in the present or is it in the future? Number 1, Carla waits in the car for her dad. Is that present or future? Yes, this is present because our verb is waits. Number 2, Dad will drop Carla off at school. Is that present or future? Yes, this is the future. Why? Because we have will drop. Number 3, Dad gets in the car. Is that present or future? Very good. This is present. Why? Because our verb is gets. Very good. Number 4, they will go down Elm Street. Is this the present or the future? Very good. This is the future. And why is it the future? Because we have will go. Next, a verb in the future tense tells about an action that will happen. We use will with a verb to form the future tense. Now, a future tense verb must agree with its subject. If the same future tense verb is used for both singular and plural nouns. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to change the underlined present tense verb and we're going to make it future tense. So we don't forget we need to use the word will, okay? So, for example, it looks something like this. We plant new flowers in the yard. Well, if we change this to the future, we say, we will plant new flowers in the yard, okay? We just have to add will. Number 2, the rain falls into our new rain barrel. All right, now this one's a little trickier. The rain will fall. We do not have an S because the S means that it's in present tense. The rain will fall into our new rain barrel. Number 3, we water the flowers with the water that we collect. So in order to make this future, we will say, we will water the flowers with the water that we collect. And number 4, Dad uses the rain in the bird bath too. Now this one, again, we have to be careful. We say, Dad will use. No S because S means present tense. Dad will use the rain in the bird bath too. Okay, really good job with our future tense today. All right, now that brings us to our draft model. I would like to invent a ride that is similar to a falling maple tree seed. I think kids would enjoy it. Like the seeds, it would start up high. Then it would spin down and land softly. Okay, so what's the main idea of this? Okay, so it's inventing something new, right? So the main idea is inventing a ride, like a roller coaster ride, okay? Now, what points support it? Well, we could say this supports it, right? This supports our main idea. It kind of describes it. Now, do you think that we could make this better? Yeah, it could. So we kind of need to fix the ending. We need to give more details. How is this like a falling maple seed? We need to give some more details so that the reader can kind of think a little bit more, okay? So let's try to rearrange and add some details to make this a stronger summary. I would like to invent a ride that is similar to a falling maple seed. Like the seeds, it would start up high. Then the ride would spin down and around in a circle. After that, the ride would land softly on the ground, just like the maple seed. I think kids would enjoy it. All right. Now, I rearranged where I put this sentence. I think kids would enjoy it helps us to summarize all of the different things that we just put into our new paragraph. I would like to invent a ride that is similar to a falling maple seed. Like the seeds, it would start up high. Oops. Then the ride would spin down and around in a circle. So this gives us a better visual of what is the ride actually going to do. After that, the ride would land softly on the ground, just like the maple seed. I think kids would enjoy it, okay? So this is a much better structure to our draft model. Good job. All right, guys, that's the end of our class today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next week. Bye.